Welcome once again to Great Online Tuition. We are still solving math questions, and this time around we want to look at quadratic equations. So clearly you can see on the screen, you could see a question that says that solve the following equations by factorizing x squared minus 3x plus 2 equals 0, 4x squared plus 5x minus 6 equals 0, x squared minus 11x minus 12 equals 0. Now, the good thing here is that in this question, we are asked to just factorize, so we are going to solve this one analytically. There are other ways by which we can solve this. We can use graphical method. We could also use completing of squares to solve this. We could also use the quadratic formula to solve. But in this question, we are asked to factorize, which means we are supposed to solve this analytically. Good. So this is just to continue from what we were doing before. We are finished with these functions, and now we are now working on this quadratic equation. So I'm going to start off with this very first question. Okay. But before I do that, what I want to touch on is that these are quadratic equations because if you look at the highest power of x is 2. And for 2, the degree of 2 makes it a quadratic equation. Now, generally, a quadratic equation is ax raised to the power 2 plus b of x plus c equals 0. This is a general quadratic equation. Now, in solving this one analytically, what we normally do is to multiply the coefficient of the x squared to the c. Then that will result in AC. The next thing we do is to find the factors of AC such that when we sum up these factors, it should result in the coefficient of x, which is b. So we are going to use this approach to solve these questions. Very well. So let's start with the first question. The coefficient here is 1. So if we multiply this 1 times 2, it gives us what? It gives us 2. Now, what are the factors of 2? We have 1, we have 2, we have -1, we have -2. Now, when we are considering these factors, we need to look at the combination of them that could give us the 2, and at the same time, when we add them, it should give us the -3. Clearly, if you take 2 times 1, it gives you 2, but when you add them, 1 plus 2 doesn't give you -3. So we'll use -1, -2. -1 times -2 gives us +2. -1 plus -2 gives us -3. So that's what we're going to use. So this becomes x squared minus x minus 2x plus 2 is equal to 0. Now we can decide to put these two terms together and these other two terms together and then factorize. So this becomes, we have x raised to the power 2 minus x into one bracket and then the other bracket will be, we have minus 2x and then we have 2. All this is equal to 0. Let me take care of this bracket. It's not supposed to be there. Okay, good. So now this will result in, we could, this is, sorry, yeah, this one is supposed to be, this is not supposed to be there. So let me take it again. I don't want this bracket there. So this is x raised to the power 2 minus x. Right? Let me do it again. This is x raised to the power 2 let me introduce the bracket rather first. X raised to the power 2. Then we have minus x. Then let's bring our plus. Introduce another bracket. We have minus 2x. Then we have 2. All this is equal to 0. So now we've grouped these terms. We'll group these terms. So from this place, we can just go ahead and do our factorization. So in doing so, the common factor here is what? X. We have x minus 1. Then we could factorize minus 2 out. So we have minus 2 out. We have x minus 1. And all this is equal to 0. Now, the good thing here is this, that in mathematics, when we have two items multiplying each other and it's equal to 0. Okay, now let me not even jump the gun. Let me finish it off. Now we have x minus 1, we have x minus 1. So we could go ahead and factorize x minus 1. Then we'll have x minus 2. This equals 0. Now, at this juncture, we have x minus 1 multiplying x minus 2 equals 0. So to solve this equation, we'll use the mathematical concept that says that if you have two items multiplying each other and the answer is equal to 0, for instance, you have a times b equals 0, it is either a equals 0 or b equals 0. So we are going to apply that concept, which means that we have either x minus 1 is equal to 0, which implies that our x is equal to 1, or we have x minus 2 equals 0, which implies that our x is equal to 2. Let me just push these ones up here so that we could see the solution. Good. Okay. So this is our solution for the very first one.